Well, welcome to another week of Spiritism, where we can learn a little bit more about ourselves and the world around us. I'm glad you guys can make it through all this weather. I know it's cold and rainy, sleet, but we're here. We won't miss it. Today's topic, we're going to talk about attitude of gratitude. It is a Thanksgiving from a Spiritist perspective. The first half of this is going to be mainly statistics and other people and what they say about attitude of gratitude and how we can better improve it. And then towards the end of it, we're going to discuss how Spiritism ties into all of this together. Okay? If at any time there's any questions or thoughts or ideas, feel free to interject. Okay, so attitude of gratitude. First of all, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. And in here, of course, we have a Bible verse that says, "Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His love endures forever." We express gratitude, this is the kind of the time when we mostly think about being grateful. It's around this Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays. It's in our minds more often at this time of year than any other time. We express gratitude for all the things in our lives. We make a concerted effort then to gather as many family members together for this special occasion. This helps us become visibly reminded of what we're grateful for. So, hey, let's all get together. Let's bring our family together. And of course, it doesn't always come out the way we planned it. There's always somebody that can't make it. And then we have to be careful with those who are not able to come. And that is not to say, well, they're not coming because they don't love us. And we can fall into that trap. It's many circumstances in our lives that occur that not everybody can be here. And we have to be grateful for the ones who are. And those who are not, we pray and hope that their lives are going well and that things are going okay. But for the most part, we gather in family because we look around and we can see what we're most grateful for. We're very grateful for each other. So it's a wonderful feeling. What a wonderful feeling to have that. But what if we can make this thankful and joyful feeling last all year long? Why do we wait till Thanksgiving or Christmas to have this feeling of joy and love and openness? And can we make it year round? Well, let's find out. Okay, we can if we develop an attitude of gratitude, and this is according to New York Times best-selling author Lewis Howes. In his book, The School of Greatness, Howes simply says, life is better if you develop an attitude of gratitude. Howes went on to say, if you concentrate on what you have, you'll always have more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you'll never have enough. Bells ringing. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago in Spiritism, and it's in the Spirits book. The spirits in themselves have already issued this same message. This message continues to come around through many different voices. It doesn't necessarily have to be from a Spiritist group. And here's another example of a voice that our spirits, our guides have already told us back in the 1800s. And here's somebody in the modern times, currently living today, saying the exact same thing. Okay? If you concentrate on what we have, then we feel like we have a lot. But if we focus on the things we don't have, we'll never have enough. It'll never be enough for us. And many people agree. This other person here quoted, who's this person? Melody. She said, gratitude turns what we have into enough. So a lot of people agree with this. According to researchers at Eastern Washington University, there are 4 primary characteristics of grateful people. These are people who tend to feel a sense of abundance in their life. They feel like they have a lot. Oh man, I'm so grateful for the things I have. For this chair I'm sitting in, I'm so grateful. I have a car, I have transportation. I'm grateful for, I have a family, People are grateful for all these things. Appreciate the contributions of others to their well-being. How often do we notice when someone does something for us and then we appreciate it? Sometimes people will do things for us and we don't pay much attention to it. Someone could save your life all of a sudden and you don't even know, you don't even realize who it was. So we need to be aware of these people. Recognize and enjoy life's small pleasures. Small pleasures meaning like what? What are the easiest, simplest things that happen in our lives? What about a moment when you're sitting with a family member and you're just having a bowl of ice cream? a small bowl of ice cream? What about those little tiny moments? Those moments you share, say when you had a child. Those moments that you shared with people, very simple, just a smile and a gesture and a thank you. Or you open the door for somebody, they look at you and acknowledge, thank you. Those little tiny moments, we think they're nothing, but in the end, they're going to be really big. Acknowledge the importance of experiencing and expressing gratitude. So these people then are aware of these four things most of the time. This is what they're thinking. They're thinking, okay, well, what's important? How do I experience gratitude, and how can I tell someone else that I'm grateful? Those are the way they're living their lives. This is what they're doing day by day. They get up in the morning, what am I grateful for? They're walking through their normal routine, and how can I be of help to somebody else? How can I thank this person, because yesterday, man, that person really helped me out on this thing. What can I do to thank them? How can I show my gratefulness? So that brings, in turn, it brings happiness. It brings happiness. Gratitude makes sense of your past. It brings peace for today and creates a vision for tomorrow. That's the same person, Melody, who we just spoke about a little while ago. So it makes a lot of sense. Now, science agrees that having an attitude of gratitude can make you a happier person. So let's find out how in this next little video. They talk a little bit about, it's just a 2-minute short video. It talks about how science is related to gratitude and how gratitude creates happiness. Let's see how that works. Yay. Go.
Research shows that adopting an attitude of gratitude, simply expressing appreciation and being more thankful, can measurably improve your overall well-being. For example, studies prove that gratitude can increase happiness, reduce depression, and strengthen resiliency. Grateful people often experience reduced blood pressure, less chronic pain, increased energy, even longer lives. People who purposefully express more gratitude report higher self-esteem than those who don't, and they're more likely to help others, a pro-social behavior also linked to greater happiness. People who capture grateful thoughts before bed sleep better than those who don't. Why so many positive changes? Because gratitude actually rewires our brains, kickstarting the production of dopamine and serotonin. Like antidepressants, these feel-good neurotransmitters activate the bliss center of the brain, creating feelings of happiness and contentment. This appears to be self-perpetuating. Research suggests that with regular practice, you'll train your prefrontal cortex to better appreciate and retain positive experiences and thoughts, and to deflect the negative ones. Here are a few simple ways to deliberately cultivate that attitude of gratitude. Celebrate minor accomplishments. Think about what you have rather than dwelling on what you don't. Tell the people in your life something you appreciate about them. Tell yourself too. Volunteer, hold a door for a stranger, or simply smile more, and you'll probably feel better, as kindness and giving are connected to gratitude. Similar positive brain changes can occur from regular meditation and mindfulness. Keep a daily gratitude journal using an old-fashioned notebook or a high-tech app. The science is clear. Give gratitude a go. You'll be thankful you did.
So in science, and in the science realm, they are talking about what it does to your brain and how your brain functions and all of this. But on a spiritual level, we know what it does, because spiritism or spiritual, the world is all energy. And that does manipulate our brain. Our brain does use energy to communicate. And so this is, from this point of view, expressing gratitude brings forth happiness. Any comments on the video? No. I found that very interesting. So, I'll suggest some strategies to help us develop an attitude of gratitude. So in other words, you're saying, all right, so I have to be grateful. Well, how can I be a better grateful person? What are things I can do? And this gentleman House suggested certain things. Now, you don't have to do every single one of them, and you don't have to do them all every day, but pick one, pick two, Try it out. See what works for you. But these are some of the ideas that he brought forth. First of all, wake up every day and express to yourself what you're grateful for. What's the first thing we do when we get up in the morning anyway? I found myself, and a few weeks ago I realized I was doing this. The first thing I would do is look at my phone. I get up in the morning and I look at my phone. And then I kept wondering, is this a good thing to keep looking at my phone? Because what am I looking at my phone for? Well, first of all, for messages. Second of all, news or whatever, you know. And you think, really, what is there I can do that would make my life a little more fulfilling than just staring at my phone all the time? Because we tend to become dependent on that phone and we're always looking. So then this is a really good idea. Wake up before you even look at your phone. Oh man, I'm grateful. Think of things that you're grateful for.
When you get to be old, you say thank you for another day.
Thank you that I woke up, you know.
Oh, no. That's what we were taught when we were young. My mom said, when you get up in the morning, always pray, thank you that you're still alive, because a lot of people die during their sleep.
Yeah. But then we understand that death doesn't exist anyway.
Right.
But you still wake up thankful for another opportunity
Correct.
to live another day on this material world to where we can continue to learn and grow. That would be a spiritist point of view. Not, oh, I don't want to be dead. What? We don't want to be dead? That's not how we see it in Spiritism. We see it more positive. Like, well, if I am dead, I'm not really going to die anyway. I'm alive. But I'm grateful for being on this earth, for given the opportunity, another day of opportunity of learning, of being able to progress spiritually. We're grateful for those days. Absolutely. Tell whoever you are, tell who you're with at the end of the day, the 3 things that you're most grateful for. So at the end of the day, ya se va a acabar el día. Either text somebody or talk to somebody or communicate and say, hey, you know what I'm grateful for today? 3 things. Either they happened that day or in general. I'm grateful that you're with me. I'm grateful that we're here. Or I'm grateful. Think of those 3 things. Now, tell whoever you're with right now 3 things that you're grateful for. So I would like you to turn around and talk to somebody next to you and tell them things that you're grateful for right now. Go ahead. Tell them 3 things I'm grateful for. Talk to each other. I'm going to walk around and I'm going to listen. What 3 things are we tell each other?
I think I'm grateful just to have it.
Can you think of 3 things?
That's a good one.
I thought of one.
I'm grateful for
It's like in marriage,
Yes,
they
they
went
do.
to a marriage encounter,
I'm grateful.
and they would ask, say something that your wife, your spouse, say something good about her, and most of them would say, well, she's a good cook.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. In a marriage encounter?
Muy buena para cocinar.
Yeah, always. It's like
No,
whenever
eso
I
no.
don't think you understand because like, you know what I'm saying?
Let's go back. Let's rewind a little bit. Think about the reaction you had when I asked you to do it. How do we react? You want me to what?
Yeah.
Like right now? At this moment? Because a lot of those moments are very private for us, right? They feel very much deep in our heart, and you don't want to discuss it out in the open. I can understand that. But when you really try to do it for real, even if you're in private, it still feels the same. It still feels awkward. The 3 things I'm grateful for. It just doesn't, it doesn't compute in our normal, natural, everyday language, But we don't necessarily have to approach it that way. It doesn't have to be all that formal. We can be a little less formal, but at the very least, if you can't verbalize it to somebody, then think it out loud, think it to yourself. Think, man, I'm grateful, for, today I was able to do these things, and I'm so grateful, But if we're conscious, a person that's happier is more conscious about the things they're grateful for, okay? These are everyday things we can do, mind you. It's not just Thanksgiving Day. We can do these every day. Start a gratitude journal. Some people write a lot. They like to take notes. Not all of us, but those who do, I encourage you to continue doing it. Those who haven't and think maybe that would be a good thing for me, give it a shot. Some people, you know how people journal now? They use their phones. There's a little notes section on your phone. You hit notes, man, this happened, and you know what, this was awesome, da-da-da. You keep a little journal. Songwriters keep journals all the time. People that write songs are always writing their life experiences. They turn them into songs. We can learn from songwriters by doing it ourselves. But those journals, imagine you go back a year or 2, and you read a couple of those things and you freak out. You'd be like, wow, this happened? This really happened to me? I can't believe it. And I was really feeling this way at that time? Whew, why was I feeling like that? That's stupid. It wasn't even a big deal. But it was at the time. You know what I mean? When you look back on your life and the things you've done, if you have a journal, then you have a record. And many people are very good at keeping diaries, keeping journals, and they'll go back. And what happens as a result of reading those journals and those diaries? Spiritual growth, because you start learning where you were and where you're at and where you need to go. Now you have a roadmap, sort of, through journaling. I highly encourage you to do it.
You gonna say something, Loretta?
No, I was just gonna say about like what you just said. It's because like in the 2 slides back, not the video, but the
Yes,
slide before
yes.
that, it said there to make sense of your past.
Yes.
And so what that meant, well, because I do this every day with my patients,
Mhm.
when to make sense of your past allows you to be grateful for that past,
Yes.
even if it was hard.
Even if it was hard.
Because now, let's say that you had that alcoholic father, you
Mhm.
would say, you know what, I'm grateful that I went through that experience because I'm now, well, number 1, I don't want to be an alcoholic. Number 2, I won't do that to my family, and hopefully I won't marry an alcoholic, or, there's so many lessons from that we can be grateful for, but that would require us thanking God for our suffering.
It would require us to say
That's
thank
hard.
you for our pain and suffering.
Yeah, but
And
it's a gratitude. And I say that to the kids that I talk to, or whoever I'm talking to. We can be grateful now that your father was that way,
Yeah.
because it helped you be this person.
Look who
today.
you are, and look what you're doing, and look at the things that now you are encouraged to do to make things better.
Yeah, making sense of our past is a very big part of our spiritual growth.
And through journaling, people use that as a very powerful tool. Now, not everybody journals. You don't have to. Not everybody can do it, or not everybody feels the need or the want to do it. That's fine. But if you do, you'll be surprised at some of the things you'll learn about yourself when you read about yourself in the past. Okay? So yeah, a gratitude journal. He also mentioned, acknowledge yourself for what you have done and accomplished in the last day or week or month or year. Instead of comparing yourself to others, give yourself credit for the big and small things that you've been doing. So look at yourself. Ask yourself, where am I now? Where am I? And how did I get here? What have I done? Like you said, Loretta, talking about the past. What have I done that got me to this point right now? So we're being mindful now, mindful of our path towards spiritual growth. Now we're purposely in charge of what we're doing. In finances, they say you need to be in charge of your money. You need to know where every penny goes. But a lot of us go through some financial troubles, and a lot of it is because we're not paying attention to where our money goes. All of a sudden, you get a paycheck, and boom, 4 or 5 things get paid for, and you don't even know how or why. So we lose track of what we're doing with our money until the moment comes that people come knocking at your door or calling you over and over again, hey, where's my payment? Then you wonder, wait a minute, I thought I had figured that out. The same way we should take inventory of our lives is the same way we take inventory of our finances. Where are we? What have I done? How much have I given? How much am I taking? In the world, that's what they talk about a lot, right? But in our spiritual world, same thing. What am I taking? What am I giving? What am I doing? Are people better after having met me, or am I making things worse? Why is it everybody around me is always bitter and angry? And we blame others. Why are they always mad at me? People get mad at me for no reason. I don't know why. Everywhere I go, bad things happen to me. Take inventory of your actions first. Look at yourself first, and then work your way around it. So acknowledge yourself. Give yourself some credit for having done some good things. Acknowledge other people and thank them for inspiring, helping, supporting you. Oftentimes, people wait their whole lives to be acknowledged, and yet it happens far too infrequently. Isn't that true? It happens very rarely that we're acknowledging people. There's always someone in our lives that plays the background role, and nobody pays much attention to these people. Like, they work behind the curtains, so to speak. They do things, and no one really notices the difference. No one knows. As children, at some point in our lives as children, our parents would do stuff that we didn't even know they were doing for us. They were doing things in the background that we didn't notice. And as children, we never really recognized hey, thanks for, because we didn't know any better, right? Well, guess what? As adults, spiritually speaking, we're at a level where, we don't know any better. When you compare us to a highly elevated spirit, someone who's been incarnated many, many lives, we don't know any better. So how do we awaken that? Well, we start to be grateful for anything. And let's show our gratitude for other people as much as we possibly can. How does it feel? Has anyone here ever been told or been surprised, say either by coworkers or by family members, hey, thanks, what you did really helped me in this? Has anyone been told that or have been mentioned it before? If you have, I can guarantee you the feeling is like 3 times that you feel, really? Because first of all, you're surprised. What I did really affected you that much? It did. But when someone recognizes it and tells you, man, it just brings you like this joy. Like, wow, I didn't even do much. I just kind of said this little line, and then all of a sudden it made this huge difference in his life. I've had kids that go back and talk about their teachers. They're now adults, right? And they say, that one teacher said something, and it changed my whole life. Wow. It's very powerful when one teacher can just say one thing, and all of a sudden, boom, the student changes and becomes more responsible and starts doing things in a positive way. So we influence each other, and let's be a positive influence as much as possible. So then what makes you happy then? What is real happiness? Let's watch a short video on the science of happiness. Here's a little short clip. And let's see here.
Shut up.
What? Wait.
Oh, he's gonna be so embarrassed.
What makes you happy? Having fun? Hanging out with friends? Delicious food? Making money? Well, consider this. Psychologists have scientifically proven that one of the greatest contributing factors to overall happiness in your life is how much gratitude you show. Yeah? Think about that. Go ahead and marinate on it for a second. You can thank me later if you want. It'll make you feel better according to this study. You go ahead and click on it and read it if you want. Or you can keep watching because we read it and we thought it might be fun to test out for ourselves. We gathered a selection of volunteers to act as our subjects. First, we gave them a test. They didn't know what we were looking for, but it gave us a pretty good idea of their current level of happiness. We asked them to close their eyes and think of somebody who was really influential in their life, somebody who did something really amazing or important for them. We had them write down as much as they could about why this person was so important. Now, a lot of them thought at this point the experiment was over, until we really put them on the spot and tried to get them to call that person and read what they wrote about them. Thank you, Jessica. We're gonna have you call your mother. So who is that right person for you?
Person is my sister, Erica.
We're gonna give Erica a call.
Okay.
Who'd you end up picking?
Friend of mine, Craig Ains. Her name is Dora.
My college accounting instructor.
Really? Is this somebody you're still in touch with today?
No, I'm assuming that he's passed on.
That's a shame.
Great beyond.
You up for it?
Yes.
What would you say if we called up Dora?
Oh, well, we can try, but she lives in Britain.
In Britain?
I don't know a number by heart, dude. This is awful.
That's fine. I don't know my mom's number by heart.
If it's true that those who are going on are looking down on us, maybe he read my chicken scratch.
Hey, sweetheart.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
You got a second? Where you at, the hotel?
I am. I'm in the hotel. You scared me when you asked if I had a second something's wrong.
No, I'm on like this little TV show, and they told me to talk about the person that influenced me the most, and I picked you, and then making me call you. They're making me call you.
Oh, wonderful!
Hi, you reached Craig. I'm not here right now.
At the tone, please record your message.
Oh, come on.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
Erica, it's me.
All right, so I got to read you this paragraph. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead, sweetheart.
All right. The person that influenced me the most would be my mother, Marlo Dawson. She is a single mother of 2. She is a very hard worker and dedicated to her family.
Hey, Craig, this is Loie.
This is going to be a funny little voicemail, so I hope you enjoy it.
I'm so sorry for calling you at 4 o'clock in the morning.
I have to read this to you, okay? And you can't say anything, or I don't know. You can respond, but I probably will just keep going. Okay?
Is everything okay?
Yes, but I have to read this out loud to you.
The person who has had the biggest impact on my life outside of Jesus Christ, who is responsible for my existence, was my college accounting instructor. He had a joy and enthusiasm for his job like no other teacher I have ever known.
I love her to death, and she keeps me going with positive talk. She is a woman that knows what she wants and won't give up until it is achieved.
Oh, something. I don't know what. I'm about to cry because it's so beautiful. I have to say that it's wonderful.
I first met Craig on an independent feature film set in Whitefish, Montana. I recently have been sending Craig a lot of positive thoughts as he suffered a series of health problems. Despite his medical problems, he's continued to work and take pleasure in the small things in life, like sitting quietly with his wife Janine on the porch. Erica is my older sister and my best friend. Sometimes it even feels like we are twins. She's my #1 fan and my #1 supporter. She makes me happy because despite all my mistakes and my decisions, she still loves me no matter what.
Your friendship is everything. And you are one of the most important person in my life.
Even when she has a kid and many children, I will love her more than her kids. Okay, maybe not. I will never forget when she flew 3,000 miles at the drop of a phone call to save me from a breakup.
I'm being blessed by having a son like you. I love you.
Bye.
Why did you do that?
I don't know, because they made me do it.
Thank you for picking up. Bye, sweetie.
And then they're like, here, you're gonna write this letter. And then I wrote like this whole long ass letter, which, you know, I like don't write. And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, guess what? Now we're gonna call her and you're gonna read her this letter. And I was like, what the
Look at the smiles.
Before we let them go, we gave our subjects one more happiness test. Now, we mixed up and rephrased the questions so they didn't know they were taking the same test twice. For those who took the time to actually write something down but couldn't make the phone call for whatever reason, we saw happiness increase between 2 and 4%. Good, but not exactly mind-blowing. Now, for those who actually picked up the phone and personally expressed their gratitude, we saw increases between 4 and 19%. So either way, expressing your gratitude will make you a happier person. But you want to know something really interesting? The person who experienced the biggest jump in happiness was the least happy person who walked in the door. What does that mean? That means if you're having a particularly tough time, trying this out will more likely have a greater impact on you. Trust me. I'm in a lab coat. In fact, while you're at it, film it and upload it to us. And we'll do something awesome with it. I'm Julian, and this has been The Science of Happiness.
Pancake, subscribe.
All right. What do y'all think? Pretty interesting? Any thoughts, ideas on that? I got a little emotional. I had to calm down a little bit. But because you relate that to yourself. I mean, imagine having to tell somebody or writing something that the most influential person in your life, and then you have to tell them. You know, it chokes you up, you know, to have to just say it. Just thinking about it makes you... But the smiles on their faces when they did it, the happiness, the joy that they felt, that's happiness. That's true happiness. Not a material thing that you want. Not a brand new car, you know. That's not true happiness. It's our relationships that brings us joy and happiness. And this video taught me so much on just, even if you don't say it to somebody, but you think it. Because thoughts are energy. You think it and you feel it, and now you have this feeling of happiness. And I wish I could tell Keely that, because Keely's not here today, but I know she's going through a lot. But I think she could understand also that going through an exercise like this and being able to communicate with the loved ones that are around you and tell them how they mean, what they mean to you, that just brings you joy and happiness. So awesome video. Any other thoughts or comments about it? Let's go into Spiritism. as spiritists, we're grateful for what now? We're grateful for each other, yes. A lot of the stuff we talked about and heard already, we're grateful for those things. We understand that. The spirits have communicated a lot of the same ideas and sentiments. However, as spiritists, we kind of have this unique perspective, and that is our spiritual guides. Are we grateful for our spiritual guides? Those are the ones that work in the background, like our moms and dads when we were kids. They're there. Every single day they're doing something. If it's not one thing, it's two things. So that in itself, the feeling of comfort is wonderful, isn't it? They help us resist temptation. Am I right? Don't they help? They help us also point us in the right direction, and they help us escape danger. They help us find that light, that direction when we feel lost. Yet, we attributed a lot of these things to our own ego. No, pues I did it. I made the right turn. Everything turned out fine. Look what I did. I'm the man. More times than not, it was our spiritual guides who gave us an idea and said, hey, that's not the right idea. That's not the right direction. Go this way. And we kind of got this funny feeling that maybe I'm not doing the right thing. I should change. And you make the change. Lo and behold, it was the right decision. Okay? Now, sometimes we make bad choices. And at times, our spirit guides are required to step back and say, let him go through this. They have to figure it out. They have to experience this. Just step back. And it hurts them, believe me. Just like it hurts us as parents to watch a child trying to walk and they keep falling. And it hurts. You don't want to see your child fall. But if you don't let your child take steps, how are they going to learn to walk? Our spirit guides are looking at us the same way. You know, my God, don't go there. Ahí está un pozo, se va a caer. Eva. And they're asked by the higher levels of spiritual guides saying, let them. They have to figure it out. So sometimes, yeah, we feel like, where are you? You've abandoned me. Sometimes we feel that. But in those moments, they're more than anything, they're more closely watching than anything else to make sure that nothing serious happens to us. Okay, so our spiritual guides. Be grateful for our spiritual guides. We thank them at night before we go to bed. If there's anything that you are not sure of, to say 3 things to somebody what you're grateful for, always remember that we can always be grateful to our spiritual guides. That's always one. So that takes one away. I know I heard some of us here say, pues I can think of one, right? I can only think of one thing. Javier wants me to say 3. I got one right now, but what about the other 2? I can't think of anything. When you can't think of anything else, our spiritual guides are there. Afflictions. We just talked about that. Our pains and sufferings. Thank you, God, for our afflictions. Really? But where else will you hear that other than in the Spiritist book? That you're grateful for your afflictions. You're grateful for the pain and suffering you're experiencing because you know that on the other side of that pain and suffering, you're going to come out a better person. You're going to come out a stronger person. And not only for yourself, but you're going to be able to help other people in their lives as well as they go through their trials and tribulations. So thank you for our afflictions. What about our enemies? This didn't even come from Spiritism. This came from Jesus Christ himself. He said, love your enemies, right? And the Spirit's book has re-emphasized that. And they've said it many, many times in many different ways. That we need to be grateful for our enemies. Thank you, God, that we have enemies. Why should we be grateful for enemies? Because they're going to teach us who we truly are. Who are you? What are you made of? In the military, I'm sure you go through. You had to go through physical trainings and obstacle courses, and let's see what you're made of. Can you get through it, or are you going to cop out halfway? Am I right? In the military, I know that I grew up through in band and music, and we had to go through certain things to make sure. Are you ready for a competition? What are you made of? What are you willing to do what it takes to be prepared for this competition? Or in the military's case, to be prepared for anything, the inevitable, war, for example? Are you willing to do it? Now we're being challenged here on this material world. Are you willing to go through it? Are you willing to do it so that you can come out a higher, better, more prepared spirit? Are you willing to? We have to be able to go through our enemies and be able to face them and to forgive them and to even help them. I'm going to help that guy who has bullied me all my life through high school. Now I'm gonna go up to him and say, hey bro, you need any help? Can I help you? Your car looks broken. You know, and you know that guy. He was the one that was bullying you in high school. Hey man, can I help you with anything? Imagine the surprised look on his face when he turns and looks at you and goes, you wanna help me? Well, you're stuck here. I mean, I can help you. I got a car, I could tow you out of the ditch. Wow. Wow, what a big statement on your part. You manned up to it, right? So let's remember those things. What about unity of family? Love doesn't ever go away. I mean, we're here, we love each other. Many people fear death because they fear separation from their families. And the first thing that the Spirit would ask is, where's my family? Even André Luis demonstrated that in his book, in his movie, Astral City. His book entitled No Solar in Brazil. He experienced that firsthand. Where's my family? Every chance he got, he would ask somebody, where's my family? Hey, how's it going? Everything going okay? You feeling all right? Yeah, where's my family? Do they know that I'm okay? Because that's what we want to do. We want them to know that we're okay, because we don't want them to suffer and to think, oh my God, the tragedy they went through, the way their life ended, imagine what's going on. We're going to want to tell our family, that's the first thing we want, is tell them I'm good. Tell them I'm okay. Spiritism came as a consoler to tell us, yes, we're okay. The spirit world is shouting, we're fine. We're here. We haven't gone anywhere. In fact, we're with you. Wow. Being grateful for our family is one of the greatest things we can be grateful for. A family unity. What about birth of children? Reincarnation. We're grateful for having new people coming into the earth. Yeah, they're going to go through difficult times. Yes, they're going to have to experience life. It's difficult. Well, we're grateful for that opportunity, for that spirit to be able to grow and learn. What about those who have passed on? We don't forget our family members who have died. We don't forget. In Spiritism, we know that they're still here. They still exist. That is our faith. It is the faith of many Christian religions as well. However, with different perspectives, right? As in, oh, my mom passed on, she's now up with the angels, or sitting up there somewhere in heaven. A Spiritist view is different. A Spiritist view says, yeah, my mom has passed on, she's in the spirit world. And once in a while, she comes to visit. And we get to talk in dreams, or in our thoughts. We're still there. Our family tie doesn't break when somebody passes on to the spirit world. It doesn't end. Our family ties continues. Thank God for that, right? Thank God for that. Okay. We're grateful and thankful for God and His unbounding goodness. We know that God is ultimately good, and He's always looking out for the betterment of us. We never have this fear of God to the point where we can't do anything, and we never have hatred or feel this hatred for feeling like we're abandoned and that bad things always happen to us. We don't feel that. We're grateful for the third revelation, which is Spiritism, via Allan Kardec, who brought the message of the Spirit of Truth, as Jesus promised. Through Allan Kardec and all the mediums that he communicated with, the Spirit of Truth himself communicated with us. And he was here.
That's revelation of Spiritism.
Yes. And so we have a lot to be thankful for the third revelation. The first was Moses, the second was Jesus Christ, and the third is the Spirit of Truth, that Jesus said, I will send you the Spirit of Truth. And through the works of Allan Kardec, we have it.
El Espíritu de Verdad.
That's right. And it's huge. We have that to be very grateful for, because it gives us that compass, that direction of where we're going in our lives and what we're doing, where we're come from. Very important. Spiritism has come to tell us to be grateful itself. Spiritism has told us that, has taught us that. Life is eternal and love is immortal. We exist on this earth temporarily for our spiritual progress. Our true home is in the spirit realm. We take comfort in that. We take comfort in knowing that everything we're experiencing here isn't just for nothing. We don't just end in dirt, underground. It isn't for nothing. There is a purpose. There's a reason for why we exist and what we're doing here. Speaking of the Spirit of Truth, here's the message he left in the Spirit's book. It's a longer message, but I cut down the shorter version of this. But man with ungratefulness, think about this. Ungratefulness. We're talking about being grateful, right? But man with ungratefulness has moved away from the straight and wide path which leads to the kingdom of my Father, and has followed the bleak pathways of impiety. Impiety is like immorality, sinfulness, a lack of knowledge of God, not following His laws. So think about this. If we're grateful, then we'll be on the right path just by being grateful. In this sentence alone, he says, man with ungratefulness has moved away from the straight and wide path. So then what happens to those who are grateful? If we're grateful, we're on the right path. We're headed in the right direction because we're acknowledging that we're not the superior beings on this universe. We're acknowledging that there's something bigger and beyond, and far beyond our capabilities, our power. Therefore, let's be grateful so that we can remain on the right path. Spiritists, love one another. That is the first precept. Educate yourselves is the second. So he wants us to love one another. That was Jesus Christ saying, right? And then the Spirit of Truth says, yes, love one another as Jesus taught you. But now let's add this one. Educate yourselves. That's the second precept. The third revelation that's come around. Within Christianity, you will find all the truths. Within Christianity, you will find all the truths. Who's going to beg to differ on that sentence? Someone who's not a Christian. They're going to say, no. I've got lots of truths. Why do I have to go through Christianity to find all the truths? Well, if you think about it, a lot of the teachings in many religions, whether it came from Christ or not, they have basically the same teachings, a lot of the same themes. Like being kind to one another. In Buddhism, for example, they practice that and they teach that. Well, that's the same thing Jesus Christ said. So, we can find the meaning of everything Christ said in all the other religions as well. I believe if we studied enough and we went through all the religions, we can find Christ's teachings go hand in hand with many of the other religions that are around. It's a universal, Christ taught us a universal teaching of love. Okay? The errors in which man has become enrooted are all of human origin. We created evil, not God. God didn't create the devil. God didn't create some evil spirit or some evil soul to come and torment us. God did not create that. God created us, pure and simple, and then we took the wrong path. And we found happiness temporarily in evil things. And it's a temporary happiness when you do evil. You're a bully, you pick on somebody, you're happy and you're fun. But it's temporary. It goes away over time. Then you look back and go, man, that was stupid. I should have never done that. Think about all the other things we do in our lives, not just bullying. We eventually come around and we realize that what we've done was a bad choice. And then we say, can I make it better? Can I make it up? Can I make it up to that person? Because I was really bad to that person. Then we ask for God's mercy, and then God says, yeah, go back and do it again. Give it another shot. And this time, do better. And here we go. And we incarnate, and we end up in the same situation, and then boom, what kind of man are you? What kind of woman are you? How are you going to react when you come across this time? It's time to man up, right? As they say. Let's get it done. So here from beyond the grave, where you thought there was nothing, voices clamor. Brothers and sisters, nothing perishes. Jesus Christ is the victor over all evil. You can be the victors over impiety. This is a message from the Spirit of Truth out of Paris in 1860. Again, the word impiety means sinfulness, immorality, disobeying God's laws. That's impiety. It says here, you can be the victors over impiety. So that's what we're doing right now. We're not fighting the devil, we're fighting ourselves. Okay? We're fighting ourselves. We're fighting our own attitudes. and we're fighting our illnesses, and we're asking ourselves, what's the cause of those illnesses? And although they tell us in Spiritism that we're not going to find absolute true happiness. We're not going to find it here in this world, in this earth. But we can lessen it a little bit because God in His infinite kindness and mercy gives us a glimmer of what true happiness is here on this earth. That glimmer of true happiness was in that video that we saw where people were calling their family members and telling them what they meant to them. That's the glimmer. It's just a little tiny sliver. Just so we'll know, look, this is what's waiting for you right over here. It's right here. It's within your grasp. And so we can feel happiness here. And we can prolong happiness if we work at it. And then eventually, we can get to true happiness. We can get to that level. Okay, are there any questions? Additions? All right. At this time, if you can, can you sit down for a minute? Let's take a little time to just kind of think about how our year has gone, how our lives, where we're at in our spiritual progress, and the things we can do to improve. And this is a very personal thing, and I want to ask you right now if you can please just close your eyes and take a deep breath in and take a deep breath out. Take a few more deep breaths in and out. With every breath you take in positive energy, positive thoughts. And as your breath comes out, be calm, release any stress, anxiety that you may have. Continue focusing on your breath. Let your awareness move to the things that are around you. Feel the positive vibrations that we have in this room with all the spirits that are here helping us, guiding us, and healing us. We think of all the things that we can smell, taste, touch, see, and hear. Say to yourself, for this, I am grateful. Settle your attention to the area around your heart. Focus on the feelings of love, compassion, empathy, forgiveness. With your attention on your heart center, bring to mind those people in your life to whom you are close, your friends, your family, your partner. It is through them that we learn the true meaning of love. Say to yourself, for this, I am grateful. Next, turn your attention to yourself. You're a unique individual, blessed with imagination, the ability to communicate, to learn from the past and plan for the future, to overcome any pain you may be experiencing. We thank God for all of our afflictions. Say to yourself, for this, I'm grateful. Finally, rest in the realization that at your own pace, include anything else that comes to your mind. Life is a precious gift. You've been born into a place designed by God for your personal growth. You have the gift of life, of love, of family, of culture, and access to spiritual teachings. Say to yourself, for this, I am grateful. Now bring your attention to how this gratitude feels around the area of your heart. How this gratitude feels within the ambience that's around us in this room at this moment. With each inhale, let this feeling grow outwards, expanding to fill your chest, your arms and hands, your legs and your feet. With each inhale, this feeling grows. It fills you up with joy and happiness. For this, say to yourself, for this I am grateful. As you slowly begin to open your eyes at your own time, your own pace, let your body remember the sensations of your gratitude. And let's go out into the world and be grateful to everyone. I'd like to thank all of you for coming today. I want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving, and let's remember to meditate. This was a little short meditation, and there are many like this online that you can find, and they'll literally talk to you just like as I did with you. And we can have, if this was just not even a 5-minute thing. Some people meditate for up to half an hour, even an hour. But it grounds me personally, it keeps me grounded, and it keeps me focused. And being grateful is going to be something that I'm going to utilize year-round, not just Thanksgiving. So God bless all of you, and thank you for coming.